Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lore with the podcast We're All Psychic, and today we have a rad guest, as they all are. Her name is Corbie. Corbie, would you like to say hello?
Hey, folks. Good to be here.
Corbie, I have a question for you. Do you think we're all psychic?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're all wired like the same house plan. It's your circuit breaker.
I love it.
Nice.
People that are like me, it's my full-time job. Circuit breakers off and the power flows. People who think this is the devil's work, they're unlocked and rusted shut. People who think there's nothing to this, but they always know when the mother-in-law's coming over, they have a short in the system. They think they're not getting anything, but they are.
Yeah, they are. Tell them, girl. Tell them.
She knows what she's talking about. So how did you get to that conclusion? Have you been working with energy all your life, or
oh geez, that's the 30-second elevator speech. Okay.
All right. Pitch me.
when I was nine, I read a book called The Witch Family by Eleanor Estes. And instead of thinking, ooh, that's scary, or ha ha ha, I thought, and your point is, I knew there was magic in the world. I wanted to go find it. Yeah. Fast forward to 1973, when I was a senior in high school. And yes, darlings, that does tell you how old I am.
How what 93?
73. I'm 67.
73 in high school. You look young. Listeners, you can't see her. This is not a video podcast.
She looks dang good.
She looks amazing.
2 magic words, darlings. No children. Takes 10 years off your looks right now.
Yeah, I had stepsons. I'm 47, so I stayed young looking.
There you go. So I was working part-time at Spencer Gifts. That was the year Live and Let Die came out, and they had the James Bond 007 tarot deck, and I bought it because we were all hippies then.
Yeah.
You had your elephant bells and your fringe jacket and your deck. Now, 5 years later, everybody else was off to roller skates and disco balls. I was still reading the cards because they fascinated me. So for 20 years, read for friends, making sure that my ego was out of the way and I was a clear channel. All of a sudden, in the early 90s, I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. That's when the universe handed me my draft notice and said, hello, you're working for us. So I did it part-time. Well, yeah, very checkered career other than that, until 9/11. And I watched the towers burn, and I turned to my husband and I said, I will need to do this work full time. People need to know there are other answers out there. He said, I believe in you, go do it. So since then, it's 6 days a week, 14 hours a day. I read about 1,000 people a year, and I get to get up every morning. I don't have to get up every morning. That's key.
Love that.
Love that too. That's when you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life's work.
Yes,
absolutely.
So when they slammed it down on you like that, did you just say yes? Did you just accept it, or did you kind of fight it a little bit, or were you just like, okay?
I didn't fight it, but it was why me, because I knew that this was a huge responsibility. A real intuitive, notice I'm not saying psychic, but I'm saying a real intuitive understands we're not fortune tellers. We're not in this to get famous and make money.
No.
When the universe hands you your draft notice, you are here in service.
Yep. Why do you think we're here?
Exactly. And it's funny. I lost a reality show gig. They were about to hire me, and they said, and we'll tell everyone that nobody can do what you do. I said, whoa, wait. That is directly contradictory to everything I've ever said. You can do what I do. I'm not special. And they said, oh, we're not interested then. Then we'll never be Tyler or whatever, who knows. But I was not willing to take what for me felt like the old 30 pieces of silver in order to lie to make money.
Right.
Because that's when the universe pulls your gift and says, nope.
I would go against that too, because obviously
doesn't mean I can't charge for my work.
Hey,
no, that's different. But you believe in what you're doing. Different. Yeah, yes. It is.
And for them to make you some kind of person who's different from everybody else, and they spotlight you, I guess that for me that would make me uncomfortable. No, because I'd be telling this person, you're psychic, you're psychic, you're psychic, you're psychic.
I know,
I would just go against it. I'd tell them, okay, let's do it. And then get on TV and be like, you're psychic. I'm just kidding.
They basically wanted me to play like I walked on water and just got my ankles wet. No, we are not going in that direction.
Oh, no.
You. That is a good move. I'm proud of you on that one.
So, listeners, she works as a psychic and a medium, I guess, right? You also work as a medium. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite part of the work?
Well, I do a lot of things. I'm a certified tarot master. I am a past life specialist, psychic medium and channel. When people come to me, it's always one of four things. They want the everyday tour bus, house, car, job, kids, finances. Okay, God, you put me here, now what? Or past lives, who was I in 1642 Belgium? Or I want to speak to my spirit guide Binky, or how's dead Aunt Mabel? That's what it is.
Right.
I can do all of that. But when spirit hands you your draft notice, it goes rifling inside your file cabinet to see what you're good at. What's my background? Theater major at Brown University, professional actress in New York for several years. So I understand character and story. Words are my drug of choice. I'm a writer, so I can tell the story. And I have adored history since I was a wee thing in single digits. You put all of that together, and what are my gifts? Telling the stories for tarot and oracle cards and past life retrieval. Now, this is important. I didn't say past life regression because I'm not a hypnotherapist. You're not the one that goes wandering in the Akashic to see what you can find. You come to me with a question, and I'm the one that goes to the Akashic and pulls it down and says, here, read chapter 2.
Okay.
And because I have such a background of history, I can pinpoint what I'm seeing better than someone without a historical background.
We had another guest named Melanie who's been on the show a few times doing past lives. And she's a witch, and she does past life, not regression, but readings. And she's a history buff too. She knows, like, she'll just pop out with like places in Germany, little tiny towns,
she's really good.
17 or something, and wilderness, and she knows
there's a river there. And I'm like, what?
And people often say, well, why do I want to know about past lives? And I'll give you 2 quick examples. Woman comes to me and says, my son is 29. He won't make any decisions without me. He won't live more than a mile away. What the hell is going on? So went upstairs, pulled the book, and I said, okay, I'm seeing 1944. This is Utah Beach, so it's D-Day. He's a soldier on the beach. He's got shrapnel in his leg. It's pretty badly mangled. You're his commanding officer, and you're pulling him over the dunes. You take some shrapnel too, but you both get out of there and you live. And I opened my eyes and she said, can you see my rank? I said, yeah, you were a sergeant. She goes, he's called me Sarge since he was 3 years old and we never knew why.
Oh my gosh.
Number 2, a woman, out in the Midwest, nobody in the family did anything with the Civil War, no real connection, but she'd always been fascinated by it. Okay. So I go upstairs and I say, I'm seeing a small whitewashed room with a low ceiling. I have 2 very tall gentlemen standing by a rickety iron bed, and their heads are bent over because they're too tall for the room. You're kneeling by the bed. You're in a dark gray dress with black soutache around the peplum. I'm thinking it looks 1862 or 63. In the bed, there is a very wizened old black woman. She's dying, and all of you are very upset and grieving because you had pulled her from a Mississippi plantation, and she was almost to the end of the line for the Underground Railroad, but she wasn't going to make it because she was going to die. And I opened my eyes, and this woman is crying. And she said, I have had that exact dream for 20 years and never knew why.
Wow.
That's why you do past lives, that's not because you think you were Anne Boleyn because you can't wear turtlenecks.
I've always believed that too, because you can't really find out who you are until you know where you've been. It's kind of my theory.
Yes.
Really cool.
And if you've got an obsession or a phobia or a place that you either love or hate that makes no sense, things like that, when you understand what the pull is, then it's a useful past life.
I agree.
But if a past life is not going to help you, then don't bother with it. It's why when someone says, just tell me a past life, I go, no, because I could be absolutely correct and it will do you no good at all.
I have a question.
Right.
When you say upstairs to the Akashic records, like how
Yep.
do you go? How do you access? We've had a few people talk about how they access the Akashic records. How do you do?
I just move my ego out of the way, tell it to go read a magazine, and open my brain pan, and it comes
Okay.
down.
Yeah. What does it do? Like one person we talked to talked about going into the library and, and meeting guards and stuff like that. I guess it's different for
No,
everybody.
and for
So
me, it's just I ask for the vision, and it rolls like a movie.
that's cool. And you consider that accessing the Akashic records?
Where else am I getting this information?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. Cause like my friend Akasha told me that card reading is the same thing as getting information from the Akashic records. And I never thought of that before.
I wouldn't say that. Really.
Yeah.
Are we getting upstairs messages? Absolutely. When you're good at working with the cards, they're doorways.
Yes.
And you don't. One of the things that I do is I give my people allegories. For instance, a card that everybody is terrified about in tarot is the Tower card. The Tower card is doom, gloom, destruction, people dying. I say, don't think of it that way. Think of it like the imploding sports stadium card. Okay. Atlanta Braves want to build a new stadium. They got to bust up the old one and clear the ground first. Yeah. When you get that card, it's stuff has to change. Don't be afraid of it, but run toward the change, not away from it. Then you are in more control.
Yes, more when
I love that.
Power over your life.
That's my favorite definition of that card. By me.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the cards will sometimes give you a different message. There's one particular card, 3 of Pentacles. Normally it has a stained glass window and it's a church, and et cetera, et cetera. It's supposed to be mastery, long-term event, something. I was reading a couple up in Canada, and I looked at the card, and what came out of my mouth was, there is an abandoned or deconsecrated church within a couple of miles from here, and you need to open up a cafe bakery. And part of me is thinking, what are you talking about? And they look at each other, they look at me, and they nod, and they say, oh yeah, we know. We've been arguing about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how the stuff just comes to you, and it comes out your mouth?
Yes.
You're like,
that's why you can't have an ego when it comes to reading.
Yeah.
Because that will screw you up every time.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do that. What do you suggest?
Yeah, what's good advice for putting the ego aside? The only experience I have with that is Reiki. You step back and let the Reiki flow. My ego is huge sometimes, and I just can't step back and let the Reiki flow. But when I do readings, I don't really remember them ever.
Well,
so I think that's
when I
do, but I don't know how. Like I think it's just like on the spot. If I'm in, I'm in the right place to be doing readings. First of all, then maybe the ego will go. But how do you suggest, like, to other people who are struggling with that?
John Holland, very well-known psychic medium. I took a class with him years ago up in Maine, and he looked at us and he said, kids, it ain't you. You are just the tube it comes through. You are the mechanism for spirit. That's all. A hammer does not go strutting around on the back deck going, look at this, I put the nail in that check on something. No, somebody took the hammer and whacked its head against the nail. Yeah, we're the same way. And with mediumship, when your ego's in the way, if you get a message that you're not sure about, you won't give the message. I don't do mediumship publicly because I don't censor. And the way I do it is a little weird. I don't fish. It's too easy to fool you. I get dog tags. For instance, my father, Jerome Richard Dorkin, who died in 2001 at the age of 80. Notice you're not telling me a thing, but you're giving me the dog tags of the person you want. Well, this was in upstate New York several years ago. There was a biracial, same gender couple. The black partner had died and her white widow wanted to speak to her. Now, remember, I'm the nice kid from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I have manners. Well, you want the PG version or the R version for your
R version? Yes, the R
version.
Okay. Because this is why you can't have
NC-17.
Okay. So this dead person comes right down, and what comes flowing out of my mouth in flawless urban ebonics was, well, shit, if it ain't my white bitch. And I'm going, but the woman in front of me laughed and nodded because that is how her partner Isabel walked into the house after every business trip. And if my ego was involved, I would have fudged that message or not given it to her at all, which meant my ego trumped her need. And that's not an intuitive you want to go to.
Right. Definitely a good point. So how do you put your ego aside? What's a technique you might use? Or because it sounds like it's really natural to you, and it comes naturally to just push it away or not.
Oh, I mean, I have an ego, trust me. Otherwise, I wouldn't love shooting my mouth off at, so many podcasts. I wouldn't have been an actress. But when I was given the chance to do this work without being taught, there was a deep sense and an angelic presence that said, you're drafted. We need you. Not because your aura don't stink, but because you have had enough grief and problems in your life that you will be a good vessel for the compassion.
Amen. Yes.
So.
Yes. And I believe that's true. Yeah. The more you go through, the more experience you have, the easier it is to understand people in their situations. It's just point blank.
Yes. But if you're going to do this professionally, you have to respect what you do. A couple of examples. There was a guy who stood in front of my booth at a psychic fair and said, okay, tell me something you couldn't know about me. And if you're right, I'll have a reading. And I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, I don't roll over and fetch either. And I turned my back and he did not get a reading. And, God bless my front people, because I'm an A-lister. I'm working open to close, but I give myself 15 minutes every 2 hours to kind of descramble the brain. Now, I was quickly trying to get a sandwich down, and a guy leans over the table and pushes my sandwich and says, you don't need to eat right now. My wife wants a reading. Stephanie, psychics are people who will see psychics as no better than a burger, a car wash, or a latte.
Well, they don't see anyone better than that, it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like they just, whoever does something like that just treats everybody like crap. I mean,
I don't know if they treat everybody, but psychics, it's hard for us to get respect.
True.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's true. You're right. Because especially from strangers who don't who know anything about it.
They don't know.
Which is why, since I'm no longer on the road, I wrote, You've Got the Magic, Who Needs a Genie? This is everything. Look, I spent 18 years on the road, 45 weekends a year, 50,000 miles. My nickname was the Travel Channel. I'm done now. So that's
bless you.
That's the information that they need. Thank you. Notice I know how to mute the mic. But in here, there are no other books out there that talk about how to do psychic work, doing the circuit, etc. And so I put in everything I could. Yeah. But I also stick in things like that are called Corbie Gets Candid. A decade ago, I received an anonymous death threat on my show table one morning from someone who did not take kindly to my reading the day before. Because we had their handwriting on my sign-in sheet and the note, we were able to match the two up with the promoter as was proper, took things from there with the local police. That's why I tell you, have a sign-up sheet. You need that handwriting.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Jeez.
Those are the things that only when you've experienced them will you think about them.
Well, what was the death threat? Why would they? What was the death threat? Was there?
I don't even remember. No, this is years and years and years ago. But he was not happy. Obviously, I told him that either he wasn't going to get a job or his girl wasn't going to come back or whatever. And
there's a reason.
That's right.
I know Joe. She's coming back for a reason. Yeah.
But psychics, we're just trash to some people. So
but you know what? To other people, there's no replacement.
You're right. You're right,
Misty. You can't get any advice from a psychologist or psychiatrist or a doctor. Anybody with a doctorate degree, what a psychic can do or an intuitive can do, no other people can give that advice like that. I
know. I won't say oldest, but my longest time client, when I started reading her little girl was 4. Her little girl is just finishing up her sophomore year at Penn State. And I still read for her. That should tell you.
Yeah.
That's so
You're in
cool.
there for the long haul.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have been, sounds like from the beginning. So you had said you've had a lot of hardships, a lot of experiences in
Mhm.
life.
Yep.
Do you think that helped you open up your psychic senses and make it more accessible for you to see the mysteries, but like understand them better as best you can because you've been through so much?
Well,
Good question.
I taught myself how to live the examined life, which is a lot of it. The examined life is, okay, this is happening and I don't like it, but I can't avoid it. What can I learn from it? For me particularly, how can I teach with it? And then next, I don't stay stuck on the story.
That's
I've
good.
been through 3
Good.
bouts of breast cancer, 2 divorces, the death of my parents, poverty, rape, abuse, you name it. But here I am at 67, 18 years clean from the cancer, 20 years married,
Congratulations.
and with work I adore. All of that gave me the resilience and the understanding of what life is like.
Yes.
And look, I am not a size 2 blonde with a trust fund who never had a problem.
Right.
This is why my clients trust me and believe in me, because they can't bring me anything that I wouldn't have complete sympathy and empathy for.
Yeah.
And they're done that.
And they can
I
feel
love
it
that.
because they're
I
Mhm.
can feel it now. You? I mean, I can feel it, you know. I could open up to her about anything at this point. You know, I just feel it.
right. You know, right.
But I will make you laugh, and making you laugh does not mean I don't take it seriously.
Right.
Oh,
But
I,
I'm
I'm
funny.
with
It
you on
just
that.
makes
I
it
have done
Yeah.
stand-up comedy about you think a psychic collection is easy.
Oh,
So,
but that was good.
but
I bet it was.
when people laugh, their shielding comes down and the information goes in just that much faster.
Yes. It
it
makes
does.
it more enjoyable too.
And they feel at ease if it's not the
Yes.
serious, you know, the death card as every card, you know, and
Yeah.
And you know, and there are some intuitives who will really act like their aura don't stink. I'm sorry. No.
We all have one.
Yep.
So how many do you have? I'm curious. I have a question. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the reason I started the podcast was to meet people and talk to people because it's like here in Alabama, Misty is and my friend Akasha, and there's maybe a couple other people I can't really talk to them about this stuff, but I can talk
Mhm,
to them. But I didn't meet them until I knew Akasha, but I met Misty by doing the
mhm.
podcast,
Yep.
and I met so many other people through the podcast. Like, do you find that you get along with a lot of other intuitives, or do you find that, you know, they're just like people, just
That's
like
a
everybody
question
else?
of a couple of levels. Number one, I adore rookies. I will help them because look, in 30 years, I will probably be dead. We will need more intuitives, and I will help raise you right. Um, my Patreon originally was like a lot of them had, you know, pay more, extra readings, blah, blah, blah. And I just said, no, this is not me. So a couple of weeks ago, I totally trashed it and rebuilt it so that it's just a teaching site,
Yeah, that's what I want
you
to
know?
do. I just
Yeah,
want to
that's
teach.
And since, you know, Ravens and my nickname is Mom Feathers, that's the nest. And people come and I teach them everything I know. If they want to do something I don't do, I'll either bring in somebody like my fabulous friend Pat Dumas, the best astrologer. She came in to talk to them about astrology, or I'll see if I can learn to do it myself. Um, it's just what I'm meant to do, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does, you know, and I kind of fought with it. I don't know if I fought with it for myself, but I have a lot of, I think that you're like this too. You have a lot of different things you can do, not just psychic
Mm-hmm.
work. A lot of, you're a
Yeah.
writer, and you're an actress and comedian, and many other things, I imagine. And then a lot of people in this field who work with their energy like to craft, you know, I like
Mm-hmm.
writing. I write too. Oh, Gandalf wants to say hi. Hi.
Hello, baby.
Like he loves the podcast. So
Keep talking. I will listen while I get my 27-pounder. So
oh
continue,
yeah,
please.
I've got an 18-pounder on the floor. He's too lazy to get up. The fat cat Einstein.
So people craft, yes.
Yeah, so what I was getting at was like I feel like doing creative things also opens your intuition a lot. everybody's, you know, if they can tap into the
Yes.
creative side. Like my mom says she has no creativity. She does. And I consider her like
No, no, no.
she can always tell if I'm lying, you know. I can keep saying no,
Yep.
I'm not as long as I want, but she knows. And it's just, that's where it goes, you know, me saying,
It's
no, you're
called
wrong. And
her
but
bullshit tolerance meter is set at featherweight, honey.
yeah.
That's what it is. Here's my boy.
I
Oh,
love
come here. I
that.
have to show you off. Oof.
Oh, come here, fat cat. Come here, fat cat. Let's see your fat
Oh, he's not
cat.
fat. He's big. He is a purebred
Oh, he's a
Maine
big.
Coon.
Ooh, I thought he was a fatty. Okay. Oh,
No,
I
he's
love
a
a Maine Coon.
Maine
Oh my
Coon.
gosh. We should have done a
Wow.
video. Oh
Oh
my
my.
God. Oh,
This is
Wow.
Prawn.
Listeners, this cat is absolutely gorgeous.
listeners,
Gorgeous.
long white hair, little like
Oh,
blonde on top. Oh my goodness.
cute.
Yes.
Wow.
Cute. Oh
He
my
is
gosh.
he is a red shaded silver, otherwise known as pink. And he was a Britain kitten that became a Mew Yorker. He was a gift for me from a friend. And his real name is Leviathan, but
Oh,
when
great.
he was about 10 years old or 10 weeks old, I said, he's so much smaller than everybody else. How come I'm getting the shrimpy guy? My friend said, oh no, over here we call them prawns. And so he became the prawn and it stuck. Now he is the high commander of the house.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. And he knows it.
Yes, he does.
Do you ever work with animals with your psychic energy too?
I can, it's not my specialty. The current animal communicator that I'm working with, who is amazing, her name is Catherine Knock, and she's over in the UK. Whenever we Zoom, you can't see it right now, but there is a shelf behind me that's known as the Mupervisor shelf. It's all padded up for the kids. And as soon as they hear Catherine's voice, all three of my cats will go jumping. And so you can see them behind me. And it's like rowdy 4-year-olds that want to talk to Auntie Kay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I can totally
frankly,
see that.
if you are a true professional intuitive, if you are not the person they go to, you send them to the best you know.
Yes,
Can
definitely.
I do health? I can, but the best medical intuitive in the US that I know is my friend Stacey Wells. She can literally look into the DNA of your body. She has seen brain tumors people miss. She saw my cancer when the doctors missed it.
Wow.
You go to her.
Oh, yeah. So you would recommend someone to her if, yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Look, you don't take money for what you can't do. You just don't.
Right.
I agree.
So, you know, you sound like you have a lot of like ethical concerns around this kind of work in this conversation. You know, I've noticed that, you know, I agree with you on like what you've been saying, you know, like there's a lot of readers who just don't like, they don't put their ego aside, or they want to do it for the attention, or they want to do it for money, or they, you know, something like that.
Those are the ones that I refer to as Madam Hoo-Ha or Swami Swalanda.
Swami Swalanda.
Yeah.
So like it seems like you have like maybe some like kind of pissed off about those kinds of readers. And I do feel that way too. People who just take advantage, especially like around in Alabama, we have a lot of curse removers, if you know what I mean. You know, $5,000, I'll remove this curse. Oh, it's not removed
yet.
That
is why I wrote my second book. It's Psychic Yellow Brick Road, How to Find the Real Wizards and Avoid the Flying Monkeys. There are 60 million books teaching you how to be a psychic. None that teaches you how to be safe, how to choose a smart one, except that one. And I did it because of a show I did in Toronto, 250 people for the booths. And so no matter how good the promoter is, they can't vet everybody. So across from me was your typical fake gypsy. And one of the attendees was walking down, looking at the aisles, and the fake gypsy comes out, grabs this woman's hand, and this is called hooking, and it's as bad as the other kind of hooking. And she goes, oh, you no need to pay $30, $40, $50. I really draw a pound for 10. Come. Drags the woman into the booth. 20 minutes later, we see this woman leaving, crying hysterical. We all rush over what happened. Well, the gypsy said, oh, you have a family curse. How many in your family? 4. You have dog? $50 every family member, 25 for dog. He's small, we fix. And told the woman if she didn't burn 400 specially blessed candles at the Roman Catholic Church, I bless real good, only $1 candle. Her entire family was going to die in a car accident in 2 weeks, and she bought it.
Oh
Oh.
That's
no.
why I wrote that book.
Oh, I would want to strangle that
She
woman.
paid her to do this. Oh.
And we had no power to get the money back.
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
One thing, I'm a Yankee. This was in Canada. The American does not go over and say, well, I know that this is, trust me, it's the wrong thing to do. But I do my best to teach people how to stay safe, what is appropriate, what is not, what questions to ask, when to get up and leave. And what I love is a lot of psychics read that book and laugh and say, geez, I wish I had this book when I was starting to read.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Listeners, that
both
book.
of them. I want to read both of them.
Yeah, I do too.
And I don't think that there's, I can't think of a book that has ever been written like that before.
That's right. I don't know of one either.
There's like a chapter in a book, or like the ending chapter of some books.
Right,
I have I have this old book from, I think it's from the 40s or 30s, and it's called it's called Fortune Telling for Fun and Profit.
Oh, that's a very 1930s title.
And it's like that old paper, and it's really interesting. It covers everything you could think of in really good detail. But the last bit of it does talk about looking for the ethical ones, looking for the ones who don't steal your money and scam you. Why do you think people get away with that?
Because there is no Better Business Bureau for psychics.
Yeah.
That's why. And it's one of the reasons that I am a member of the American Tarot Association and the Tarot Guild. I went through the testing to become a certified professional tarot reader and a certified tarot master, because it says that I treat my work seriously.
How do you?
No,
I didn't even know you could do that. How do you become certified like that?
Well, the certified professional tarot reader was through the Tarot Certification Board of America, which is no longer around.
Oh.
But there is a place called the Tarot Guild,
Okay.
and they do have ways to become certified. And the top of the line is certified tarot master, basically because you've been doing it since Moses was in diapers. But it's a great place to learn. They do classes, they have videos. If you are going to do this work, remember that a lot of people are afraid of you.
Yes.
So it is up to you to show them that they do not need to be.
I agree.
Yes. That's probably the most important thing. Yeah. So they can trust you.
And they can get comfortable and actually learn and make their lives better.
That's exactly right.
And they can accept
you're
the
going
healing.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, Misty, I know you have questions.
Oh, well, yeah. But the one that's really been bugging me, I want to know, is you were talking about the Akashic Records and how you go in. How can I do that on my own with no experience? Just how can I do that?
Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is under Corbie Mitleid, you will see that I have done a guided meditation for you so that you can meet your higher self, your soul, your oversoul. And together with your higher self, you will go into the Akashic and you will pick up information that is necessary for you at that time. It's like a 25 minute guided visualization. You are safe. And it teaches you not to be afraid, but to respect.
That's cool. Yeah.
I like that. And where can we find that?
YouTube, Corbie Mitleid.
I'll put all your information in the description of the podcast. So listeners,
I definitely need
find all this stuff, her books, her YouTube, and everything.
I want it all
in the description. Yeah, I know. But I was thinking that, like when you wrote, you had, I think you're one of the few people who actually wrote an answer to when you emailed me, and answering the We're All Psychic question. And I thought that was a real psychic question. I thought that was really cool. Most people, they just like, I want to be on the show, and you really went into depth with that. Have you always felt that way, that everybody's got this going on for them?
Yeah. And I think it was because, when we were all hippies, we knew that somewhere inside everybody could do this.
Yeah.
Age of Aquarius, all of that. Hoorah.
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't commercial at that point. It was still a mystery.
Yeah.
But the more I worked it, the more I realized the universal themes, wanting to know, wanting to reach beyond where we are, wanting to know there's something out there. I tell people, I don't care if you're Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, pagan, Hindu, or believe in Ralph the Wonder Dog. I really don't. But to work with me, you got to know something up there loves you, wants the best for you, and is willing to work with you.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I can't be an atheist with everything that I've experienced. I just can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. You've got to have somebody to look up to.
So, a lot of clients I've had, they have lost faith in themselves mainly, but they lose faith in anything else too. And it seems like a lot of people that have that circumstance, they were never.
Tell you why they've lost faith in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It is because we are taught to be victims.
Yes, I agree.
Look at the self-help books. Okay.
Yeah.
Which brings up the very first book I ever wrote, called Clean Out Your Life Closet. It's about clarity, adaptability, simplicity, and making friends with stress. But I don't say do everything I tell you and it all gets better, because I haven't lived your life, experienced your challenges. And I remember the very first self-help book I ever bought in 1968 when I was 13. And I remember the first paragraph. Judy has a groovy wardrobe. Her hair is fab and her makeup is far out. But nobody likes Judy because Judy's fat. In one paragraph, a 13-year-old was told, you are completely and utterly worthless unless you fit the mold. Oh. And that is what I remember to this day.
Yeah.
But that is what a lot of self-help books do. You have to do it my way. I mean, there was one book where they said you have to avoid food with leptin and you have to get up early in the morning to do yoga. I'm sorry. If you're talking to a Minneapolis single mother with 2 preschool kids and a job, she is not going to do that.
She didn't have time.
So the way Clean Out Your Life Closet works is each chapter, here are some of the dumb things I did. Here's maybe a client story, and here's some thoughts. But at the end of each chapter, you have what I call the invention pages, where you have to answer from your own experience, like the chapter, How Perfect Destroys Good. Where do you beat yourself up most often and why? Reimagine one of those times with the idea that good can triumph over perfect. What does it look like now? How would your life change if you stopped thinking perfection was the only correct response to a project or situation? You're not going to get that from page 82. You look at your own life. By the end of that book, that becomes your personal manual if you've done all of that. And that is as much metaphysics and spirituality as the WikiWoo. Because until you know yourself well, trust yourself, love yourself, you will not be able to do the job for your clients that you can do.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. You got to love yourself first. Yeah, I agree. Because you can't, the ego's in the way, like you said earlier.
And you can't give any love if you don't have any for yourself. You can't give it to anyone.
No, that's right.
And help them find their own self-love and point out their good qualities. If you can't see them in yourself, how can you point out to them? You look, you got this going for you. You've got this coming for you.
When you are comfortable and you love yourself, you are not in competition with your clients.
Thank you.
And especially with women are younger women are in a lot of competition with each other. We're raised that way in our culture.
It's called bitchcraft.
Men.
Not
to compete against each other for men's attention. And I've always felt that way until hopefully it's kind of changing, maybe some. But when I was growing up, I was a teenager in the 90s, and my cats are having a play cat fight. Oh my God.
We call those bar fights.
Wow, it's getting exciting in here. They just went crazy. Did you hear that? Could you guys
Yeah.
hear
Mhm.
that? All right, got it on recording. I can't remember what I was saying though. That
No,
really
you're
distracted
saying
me.
that when you were younger, you know, we were talking about how, you know, women catfight over certain
Oh
things.
yeah. It's just that they had to compete for men's attention because men are the dominant or they're the better or whatever. But I'm hoping that it's kind of changing. But in high school, it really was that way. Women were always competing, in some way to be where a man is or get a man's approval. And a lot of women treated each other really badly because of this. And
And they
I
still do.
found
Yeah.
well, I found like when I hit about 35, maybe women weren't so much like that because a lot of them had children and they
Mhm.
realized, oh, my kid's going through this crap right now. And I don't think this is the right way anymore.
Mhm.
They find women friends to talk to about their husbands and their kids. And then they find that women are just amazing. I love women personally, I do
The right one.
to communicate with, but it took a long time, like through my 20s and stuff. I had a hard time making girlfriends.
Mhm.
And then when I got older, that's when I started making more girlfriends, and it just changed everything for me, as far as confidence. Cause I thought, why don't these people like want to hang out with me? Cause when you're a young woman, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but I would just think my friends were just like wonderful. They're just like, they made me happy. They did, they just were like, "Whoa." And if any of them were to, if it's jealousy or if it's just being pissed or just being whatever for no reason, really, I didn't understand that at that time. But now I feel like that's something I can understand better, because I do believe that women in our culture were taught so much to compete to get the men's attention.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you don't
Exactly.
know where somebody's been either.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know how
That's
this.
what they
I
think.
kind of want to tie this into like, there's not that many men who work in this field as professional readers or professional
Mhm.
intuitives or anything like that, and I know some. I know some who do, but not many. Like, I'm wondering why that is.
It is much harder for them to get soft enough to have compassion and not be first.
Yeah. I can
That's
agree
so
with that.
true. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's their upbringing. They were the ones
Mhm.
everyone was competing for, I guess.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Just on the money on that one.
Yeah. So, Corbie, where can listeners find you? And like, do you have a website or other than your
Oh
books?
my
And
God, they can't avoid me, Lisa. You
can't
can.
avoid you.
So everything is under Corbie Mitleid. The
Okay.
website, Twitter, Patreon, Medium, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. All of it, Corbie Mitleid. And again, the meditation for going up to the Akashic is on my YouTube channel. If you want to learn from me, you go to Patreon. You want a reading from me, you go to the website, corbiemitleid.com. But do as much as you can on your own first. I downsell myself. Don't spend the money if you don't have to. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff out there.
Mhm.
Do that
Yeah.
first.
Yes.
Do you have any advice to people who maybe they're starting out with this, right? A lot of we ask a lot of people for advice for people starting out, but I'm feeling like someone who is very intelligent, because you're very intelligent, and it doesn't seem like you would relate to a lot of people because of that, but not in psychic work, but as far as having friends and being able to connect with someone on the same level. And a lot of intelligent people have a hard time, saying, this is real, this is happening, this is going on, or once they get there, or it's always there, one or the other. It just makes sense to them. What advice would you have to those people, like people who like book smart and also just street smart? And how would you say, like, start out with this and get the preconceptions out of the way, maybe?
Thinking that you understand the entire world is like an ant walking into a calculus class, expecting to pass. Not only does it not have the concepts, it can't hold the pencil in its little paw.
It will.
Look, all I can tell you is the best description of God I ever heard this is back in the 60s. Mel Brooks did a comedy bit called The 2,000-Year-Old Man, and Carl Reiner interviewed him, and he said, 2,000-year-old man, how did you discover God? And Mel Brooks goes, well, there was Phil, and Phil was bigger than us. So we would pray to Phil. Oh, Phil, please don't hit us with your big club. Oh, Phil, please don't take our mastodon meat. And then one day, lightning came down and struck Phil, and he dropped dead. And we looked at each other and we said, there's something bigger than Phil. That was God.
I love that. Beautiful.
You know, it's like we're not the only intelligent life in the universe either.
No.
Get over yourselves.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't be a cosmic muffin. You know,
What's a cosmic muffin?
Mercury, oh my God, Mercury is retrograde. I can't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Get over it. That's a cosmic muffin. But look around, ask questions. Questions are the best way for you to learn. They're not really so much signs of doubt as ways to crystallize what we truly know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
get other opinions, get other input, other insights, other points of view.
yes.
That's a good idea. Yeah. And a lot of intelligent people feel very isolated because they possibly feel like they know more or they understand more about things, like you just said, and there is something bigger. You're right. That's a good point. I love that. That's a very good metaphor.
Thank you.
So I guess I'm out of questions. I don't know. Do you have anything else you'd like to tell the listeners about? Or
The best way to go through life when you're looking for these things is to be a happy Martian detective. What's that? You and I were sitting across from each other and you had water coming out of your eyes. I would probably say, why are you crying? Gleeble the Martian would come down in his little spaceship and come toddling over to you and all excited say, why is there water coming from your eyes? Because he doesn't know from nothing.
yeah.
We're all Martian detectives when it comes to figuring out the world.
Mm-hmm.
Don't judge it. Don't think you know. Always ask the question, and whatever is the answer, be willing to entertain it. That's how I learned.
I like that. That's really
You're
good
right.
advice. That's wonderful
is.
advice. You have a lot of wisdom as
Right
well
on.
as intelligence.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm old.
no, I think you've always had it.
I do too.
So I do want to thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you so much. And Misty, thank you. And I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And thank you, of course, lastly, listeners. We love you. And we will catch you soon, I guess, because we don't have anything lined up right now, but we're going to have to start finding some more people, right, Misty?
Well,
I'm going to hunt some more down. Yeah. But thank you so much, Corbie. I really appreciate your time and having you on. And y'all have a great night, morning, evening, day, sunset, sunrise, wherever you are, whatever you're doing when you hear this. I hope you have a good one. Thank you and good day. Goodbye.
Bye.